Liberal Democrat Minister Norman Baker certainly didn't hold back as he reflected over Rachel Reeves' controversial spring statement. GB News guest Norman Baker was left up in arms over Rachel Reeves' controversial spring statement, branding some of Labour's choices as disgusting. On Wednesday, March 26, the Chancellor of the Exchequer shared the outline of a fresh set of cuts to government spending without raising taxes, blaming a dramatic slowdown in growth. The Chancellor faced a major setback in the hours before delivering the statement when the government's official spending watchdog rejected its forecasts for how much its welfare cuts would save. Ms. Reeves' promised changes were consistent with plans to cut the benefit bill announced last week, despite admitting the government was forced to make final adjustments to the overall package. Now, former Liberal Democrat Minister Norman Baker has shared his thoughts on the Chancellor's divisive statement. He began, "We've got the failure to change the barrier from lower tax to higher tax, which is obviously important to the tax bracket as we go on, and there's no respite really. And of course, this affects the economy because people have got more tax they're paying, then they've got less money in their pockets to spend on things and help the economy. So this isn't very good for individuals or the economy in my view." The former MP went on to attack the Chancellor in a heated rant as he pointed out other ways the government could have found cuts in the spring statement rather than slashing disability allowances. He fumed, "Rachel Reeves is the weakest link in the cabinet in my view, and she doesn't command respect and authority as Chancellor, and she doesn't look like a Chancellor, I'm afraid, and these things are important in the way that they're presented. I mean, of course they had a terrible inheritance, let's be honest about that when they came into power. But there are choices they can make. For example, they could increase the digital services tax and start getting some of these American billionaires paying more money. They could look at the huge offers being made by the big banks at the moment, which they're not touching. Instead, they're cutting people's disability allowances. I mean, it's disgusting actually." It didn't take long before viewers flooded to X, formerly known as Twitter, to share their thoughts on the heated debate online, with many calling for Ms. Reeves to be sacked. One user penned, "How can anyone look at that woman and say, yes, I respect her, it's never happened before?" Another agreed, "Yesterday's spring statement by #Reeves confirms we are heading for a big recession. It will smack us between the eyes in approximately 6 to 12 months' time." A third fumed, "She commands nothing," as a fourth echoed, "Robotic Rachel needs to be sacked."